Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So I have a story to share with you, and it's not about a very well-known public figure, but I think it's important because it just highlights how broken our system is. How it highlights the rot within our political apparatus, and it highlights how sexual assault so often goes without consequences. And many, many lives are destroyed in the process. So today's story is about a man named Bill Brough. He is a married man. He was a legislator in Southern California, in my state, until just a few days ago at the end of November, when his term ended. He also at one time served as White House liaison at the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs in the George W. Bush administration. And now Brough is officially an accused rapist because a former Capitol staffer named Patricia Todd has submitted a complaint to county officials in Sacramento stating that he raped her in her car in 2015. Todd said that she drove the two of them to a place called the Elephant Bar, and they dined there together, and Brough offered her a new job. She declined. She said that they weren't there for very long, and then she drove them back. And when she was driving him home, Brough asked her to pull over, and that's when he allegedly attacked her and pinned her down and raped her. Todd said that she screamed for him to stop so much that she became hoarse, and she said that she wasn't able to move or breathe during this assault. So she said that she was bleeding on her way home. It sounds like she lived up in Northern California, and she had a drive ahead of her. He asked her to drop him off at a bar instead of at home, so she dropped him off. She said that she immediately contemplated suicide because of what had just happened. So many people don't get this. So many people don't understand what that can do to you. She said that this attack left her physically injured and feeling all alone, and that she would go on to experience depression. She feared that Brough would retaliate against her if she came forward about the assault back then. And she told the Orange County Register news outlet, quote, "Would he show up at the house? Would he hurt my daughter? You never know what someone is really going to do when they're cornered. So it's a fear that has always been there." She has now also filed a police report with the Sacramento Police Department, and the Morlock Chief of Staff, Tim Clark, has confirmed that Todd told him about the assault right after it occurred. So she has a contemporaneous witness. But here's the thing, and this is why I say stuff like this needs to end. There needs to be a change, because this is not the first time that Brough has been accused of something like this. He has a very long history of complaints that were all swept under the rug up until this year. In 2019, four other women, totally unrelated, accused Brough of sexual harassment and sexual assault. So one of Brough's accusers was Orange County Supervisor Lisa Bartlett, who alleges that he attacked her at a retirement event in 2011 when they were both on the Dana Point City Council together. Bartlett says that she still has nightmares about this incident, and she had a witness as well. Dana Point City Manager, and if you're not familiar, Dana Point is a city in the very southern end of Orange County, California. Dana Point City Manager Dov Chotkeys, I believe is how you pronounce it, he confirmed that Bartlett was visibly upset right after the attack. So apparently, after Brough attacked her, he grabbed her, she said, I think it was by the waist or the hips, and she turned around and he wouldn't let go of her. She finally broke free and she ran to find Chotkeys. So what happened was she found out that he had already left for the night. So she called him immediately, and he came right back to the restaurant to make sure that she got home safe, is what he said. And she explained what happened. Bartlett told him about the attack, and Then there were three other accusers. His three other accusers claimed that he propositioned them to say that he sexually harassed them and implied that he would help their careers if they agreed to his advances. One of the women told investigators that Brough harassed her for almost 2 years with sexual innuendo and advances, and that on one occasion he pressed his erection against her and said, quote, "You know, I'm really into you, right?" And then when she rebuffed Brough and said that she was married, he replied, quote, "So am I." So this woman also had contemporaneous witnesses. She told friends and confided in them shortly after this interaction with Brough, or I guess many of the interactions with Brough. In fact, all four of the women confided in at least one person or more after they were allegedly harassed by him. Some of the people they confided in included their direct superiors. So people who also worked in local government with them. And 3 out of the 4 women filed formal complaints. But for years, little was done about this guy. All they did were they conducted some placating investigations that ended after the Republican Party of Orange County and the city attorney cited conflicting stories. According to one of these 4 women, they brushed off Brough's behavior by telling her, this is the woman who he pressed up against and said that he was also married and really didn't give a damn. After that interaction, they told her, the investigators told her, that these interactions were between, quote, consenting adults. No. One is being aggressive. The other one wants nothing to do with it. And how is it appropriate in a business setting, especially when you work in government? And even the former Republican Senator Dick Ackerman, he said that he was told by Bartlett. Apparently he knew Miss Bartlett. She told him about what had happened with Brough. And when he spoke to investigators to relay what she had told him, he said he was shocked because the investigators told him that Ms. Bartlett's accusations were, quote, discounted by the committee because it occurred before Brough's election to the assembly. So because this guy was just on the city council and he wasn't an assembly member yet, when she stood up and said, I don't think he should be elected to assembly member, and here's why, because he sexually assaulted me, they said, he's only a city official. He's just on the city council. I mean, can people on the city council really be held to a standard? Are you freaking kidding me? So finally, in May of this year, just this year, after years and years of this guy getting away with stuff like this, allegedly, he was removed from his committee assignments and he was ordered to take additional harassment training because a third-party investigation confirmed that he had inappropriately touched women and solicited sex in exchange for political favors. So that's it. That's it. He was allowed to retain his position of power. He was allowed to remain on the assembly. He was allowed to continue to receive his public-funded salary paid for by California taxpayers. Oh, but he's taken off of his committee assignments. Oh, wow. Wow, that's so harsh. How will he ever get on? How will he ever get by in life? Gee. Are you sure? That seems pretty harsh to me. So apparently these people do not give a damn about character. They have zero principles about who they allow to represent their party. And I give so much credit to the brave women who have come forward to tell their stories, especially Ms. Todd and Ms. Bartlett, who spoke on the record, because monsters like this accused predator are allowed to continue with their depraved behavior because too many people in positions of power choose to look the other way. But when you have multiple women speaking out, which sadly that's what it takes, it forces their hand. They can't keep denying that these men are predators and they need to be removed from society. And as Todd put it, quote, if something had escalated to my level, there has to be more. There have to be other women out there who are too scared, that are staying in the shadows, that don't want to come forward or can't come forward. God only knows what would have happened to some of these other women if they had gone up to his room. God only knows how many others weren't as lucky that we just haven't heard of yet. If he's found guilty, I hope this SOB is locked up for the rest of his life. I hope he loses everything. So luckily he did lose this year. He lost his primary challenge earlier this year. But if he gets away with this, is he going to stay in public life? Is he going to continue on? And this guy clearly has no shame. You would think that someone committing acts of sexual assault would be hiding, would be trying to keep a low profile so that they don't attract attention, so that they don't get caught. This guy, however, thinks, why not? Why not? This gives me leverage. This gives me power. It allows me to violate these people and they feel like they can't come forward. There's a system in place to protect me instead of them. It has to change. It has to change. And it doesn't matter whether it's men or women. Women go along with it too. Women, for some reason, I don't know if they're insecure. I don't know if their attitude is, oh, why? I shoved it down and I dealt with my sexual assault by not talking about it, even though it destroyed probably every relationship in their life. And they have all kinds of psychological issues that they'll never come to terms with and never admit. But they think they did a good job. And so they think everybody should just shut up and take it. Sorry, not going to happen anymore. We're not going backwards. So, all right, guys, this just pissed me off. I'm going to keep an eye on this. And if I hear any more, I will let you know. Hopefully the next thing I hear is that this guy has been found guilty and is being left by his wife. She's getting sole custody of their children and he's going away forever and ever and ever. That's what I'm hoping for. As always, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching and listening. I'll talk with you soon. Take care. Thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.